Well, I've always wanted to start a school, basically. I remember I had first astrology reading when I was 12, and they said, "Oh, you're going to have a school someday. It's really going to help people." And I was only 12 years old, and I thought, I'm in school. I don't even like school. But after coming to Thailand and seeing the amount of human trafficking that goes on and all that kind of stuff, and seeing the lack of really good education in the countryside, I thought, two birds with one stone. We get to pioneer three birds actually, pioneer a very new paradigm of education that the whole world needs, not just Thailand. The whole world really needs it. In fact, the developed countries need it even more than the rural countries. So we get to pioneer an education on developing human beings instead of human money-making machines and data processing machines. We also get to make a definite impact in Isan, the northeast area of Thailand, having this best, I think, international standard type of school of being, the Siddha school, benefiting these children that are now having their schools cut, actually. The new Department of Education is cutting schools out of existence that have 100 or less kids. So these rural kids, they really need schooling. And then we have this last thing, I think, which is great, that we're serving a really wonderful need by having kind of an upstream aid given to children that are the poorest, poorest of the poor children in this area of Thailand. That is one of the two basic headquarters or main banks where people draw humans from for human trafficking. They draw them from Odessa, Ukraine is the number one, and this is the number two here in northeastern Thailand. So by getting children into our school who are the most poverty stricken at a very young age, we're going to take the possibility of them ending up in these other loops of human trafficking, like the labor forces we see all over Southeast Asia, even exported slavery-wise into the Middle East and so on for construction and so on. Most of these people are coming out of the northeast of Thailand. We're going to see a huge dent in that with what we're doing. That's the real motive for having this school, is that we have this great new paradigm of education being developed. No matter where I am in the world, I would have wanted to develop that. So that's the primary reason. The second reason we're having this school is so that we can really impact the local culture and to decrease the amount of human trafficking upstream before we even get to rescuing people or anything. The normal way that people are educated in modern civilization to keep up with the kind of capitalist marketing kind of society and the growth of that, and the expansion of that into Africa now, India and China, in great earnest, it's going in there. The education that supports that kind of thing, that supports the leaders that make money in that kind of thing, it's all a big thing around money, is to turn human beings into data processors. We have them learning incorrectly for the age they are. We have them memorizing, have them learning mathematics and language skills way before they're ready for that kind of thing. It's all because our education changed from being liberal arts or humanities oriented, where we became human beings and learned about life, not necessarily to apply it in a career. Those were the professions, right? You did that if you were a doctor or a lawyer, but everybody else went to college to become a human in the ancient days. Well, now everybody goes to elementary school, junior high school, college, etc., to become a data processing machine in order to make more money, in order to survive. Our standard for success in all the developed nations is how much money you have, how much luxury status you attain. This is all due to how much brain power you have, and how you can manipulate the environment and circumstances and everything to produce this money. The process of that is dehumanizing. It completely destroys humanity. We must have a change in the world and get off this track, because the implications are huge. The capitalist model, the turning us into data processing machines to be successful in the capitalist commercial marketing model, produces what? Ecological devastation. We've seen that already. It's not stopping. It produces also subjugation of women constantly around the world. We see this. And it's maybe too short of an interview now to go through all the various ways that comes out, but women bear the brunt of this situation over and over again. So I think it's very important that we change the way that the world sees education to produce people, human beings that understand a sense of presence, understand what it means to be embodied, understand their connection to nature, their connection to each other and community, and reestablish family values. family values, human values, all kinds of things. My grandmother, when I was young, she said, your education isn't so good. This is when I was in junior high. And I said, why, Nana? She said, you don't have any ethics class and civics class. And I said, what's that? She said, well, that's when they taught us how to be a good person. I thought, wow, I never had a class in public education ever on how to be a good person until I got to chiropractic college with ethics and jurisprudence. And that was mostly so you wouldn't get sued. Another financial thing, So what we need is what my grandmother was talking about, an education that creates a human being, that really instills the values of human life. And here's the main point. Everybody is going through these educational tracks to try to keep up in this frantic pace of competitive capitalist marketing society, and no one's happy. There's no happiness anywhere. It pushes people into all kinds of social media, all kinds of ways of dissociating from life and experiencing enjoyment and pleasure through entertainment, like movies and video and TV and on the internet and so forth. But real human life is on the downslope because of it. And what we really want to see is people that are happy. So if we can teach happiness through contentment about being who you are as a human being, skills are easy to pick up. You can learn math, you can learn languages, you can learn sciences, you can learn engineering, you can do all the things you want to do. That's fine. We also think that the school and education in general should look at each individual human being. Stop with this McDonald's cookie cutter idea, putting out everybody to be a little data processing machine. And if this kid over here can't do it as well as this kid over here, he gets an F or she gets an F and this one gets an A. What we want to do is see the unique attributes of each student, see how they can contribute to the world, which will give them ultimate contentment and happiness. A contributing, participating human being is ultimately happy. Doesn't matter how much money you have, if you're isolated with it all, you're only going to always be jumping from one distraction to another from your pain. You have enough money to jump all your life, you could until you die. But you never had a life, actually. You were never really here. So we want to see a school that teaches kids, this is your unique life, this is what you're gifted with, born with. Become contented and happy in who you are and express this specific thing in life. You get an A for that. You get an A for happiness. You get an A for being a human being, being contented, participating in the world, contributing in the world, right? Enjoying and helping establish harmony amongst human beings. This is where we have to go. It's obvious. It's an obvious thing. We all know this. It's unsustainable. Growth like this is just unsustainable. Economic growth like that, any kind of growth. So things are coming full circle. We see collapses of financial systems in Greece and Spain and everywhere. And we're going to see more and more of that the dollar will collapse and the pound and the yen. It goes like this. As we see all this, it's because we're nearing the end of this and we're trying to reinvent ourselves in the capitalist marketing way to try to keep going with this bubble of false happiness. That money and materiality will give us happiness. And it's not going to work. The students of the future, the children, the human beings of the future have to be ready for a new future. A future where all that's pretty much collapsing or collapsed already. And they can lead the way in the world about showing people what it is to be a human and how to develop community again, understand simple happiness and values that make us not chase our tails forever and die in debt and unhappy. If chasing all this money was worthwhile and was a really good thing, and we're teaching people how to do this in school, you'd think that 95% of humans, like in America, would not die in debt in the first place. How is it 95% of humans in America are dying in debt? It means it's not working anyway. They're not happy and they're in debt. So this education system, the Siddha school, will definitely be one of the great forces in the world to change that and give people back a sense of their own humanity. Real happiness from inside.